Hi everyone! I'm really excited to introduce you to Wendy Mass, who is an award-winning author who writes curiosity-driven books for kids. Today, I'll focus on her works for elementary and middle grade readers and explore what makes her a must-known author for librarians. She writes about time travel, astronomy, birthdays, chocolate factories, and big feelings. Her books are creative, diverse, and empowering, and she's someone I believe every young reader should meet through a library. So who is Wendy Mass? Wendy Mass was born in Livingston, New Jersey in 1967. She majored in English at Tufts University and later earned a master's degree in children's literature from Simmons University. She began her writing career with nonfiction titles for kids on topics like astrology, movie makeup, and myths. A couple of these titles include John Cabot, Early Explorer, and American History by the Decade, the 1920s. Today, Mass has written more than 30 books for children and young adults. She still lives in New Jersey with her family and frequently visits schools and libraries to talk with kids about reading and writing. Wendy Mass writes across genres, but her books are united by a few key qualities: a sense of wonder, whether it's magical realism or scientific curiosity, emotionally grounded characters who grow through challenges, accessible writing that doesn't talk down to kids, and diverse experiences and inclusive perspectives. Her stories are fun but packed with substance. For young readers, Mass co-wrote the Time Jumper series with her husband, Michael Brower. These are fun, fast-paced early chapter books about two siblings who discover a mysterious time portal behind a bookstore bookshelf. Titles include Stealing the Sword, Escape from Egypt, Dodging Dinosaurs, and Fast Forward to the Future. They're short, illustrated, and they're perfect for kids that are gaining reader independence. They also introduce historical thinking and teamwork. Mass also created the Space Taxi series with Brower, which is about a boy who discovers his dad as a taxi driver for aliens. These books offer STEM tie-ins with humor, imagination, and accessibility. Wendy Mass, in my opinion, shines brightest in middle grade fiction. These are the books that many of us remember from school and scholastic book fairs, and they're the books that spark a love of reading and stay with readers for life. So here are some key titles to know. In 11 Birthdays, a girl relives her birthday again and again in a magical time loop. This is the start of the Willow Falls series and includes Finally, 13 Gifts, The Last Present, and Graceful. These books deal with friendship, growing up, and second chances, all with a hint of fantasy. In The Candy Makers, 4 kids compete in a candy making contest, but each has a secret. This story shifts perspectives and offers great ways to teach empathy and point of view. There's also a sequel called The Candy Makers and the Great Chocolate Chase. In Every Solar Star, 3 very different kids meet up at a remote campground to witness a solar eclipse. This book weaves in astronomy, family changes, and identity. Pie in the Sky is a comedy where a boy's job is to deliver pies and also help rebuild the universe. This book cleverly introduces ideas from quantum physics and cosmology. And in Jeremy Fink and the Meaning of Life, the story follows Jeremy as he goes on an adventure to open a mysterious box his late father has left for him to open on his 12th birthday. This book has themes of friendship, purpose, and finding out who you are. I think Wendy Mass also deserves some special attention for how she integrates science and STEM into her kids-friendly fiction. These aren't textbooks. They're novels that make science feel magical and exciting. A couple examples include Every Solar Star, which has astronomy, eclipses, and scientific observation; Pie in the Sky, which has physics, space-time, and the nature of the universe; Space Taxi, that has planetary science, orbit mechanics, and alien ecosystems; Leap Day, which plays with time and probability; and 11 Birthdays, and the whole Willow Falls series has magical time shifts and explores cause and effect. She also includes scientists as side characters, such as parents, teachers, or mentors, which makes science part of everyday life. While Mass mostly writes for ages 6 to 12, she has a couple YA books. Her book Leap Day follows a girl turning 16 on Leap Day, which is told from her point of view and from those around her, and it's funny and full of reflections of growing up. Another example is Heaven Looks a Lot Like the Mall, which is a novel in verse where a girl reviews her life from an in-between afterlife in a mall. These books show her range, but her heart remains with middle grade readers. Wendy Mass's debut, A Mango-Shaped Space, won the 2004 Schneider Family Book Award, which recognizes books that reflect the experience of people with disabilities. The main character, Mia, sees color when she hears sounds, a real condition called synesthesia. But the book isn't just about that. It's about grief, friendship, and self-discovery. Her other books have earned spots on dozens of state reading lists and received starred reviews through School Library Journal, Kirkus, and Booklist. As librarians, we should know Wendy Mass because her books fill so many roles in our collections. For early elementary readers, she offers exciting transitional chapter books. For middle grade readers, she writes emotional, curious, imaginative novels. Her books blend science, friendship, grief, humor, and growing up. She writes inclusively and respectfully, including kids with different abilities, interests, and cultures. Her books work beautifully in read-alouds, lit circles, STEM tie-ins, and even social-emotional learning programs. I personally admire Wendy Mass because she had a major impact on my love of reading. I read 11 Birthdays in 4th grade, and I was hooked. She was my favorite author, and I kept up with her books through middle school, and even now I follow what she's publishing. I first met her when I was 17 for the first time purely by chance at the Collingswood Book Festival, and I actually got the chance to meet her again at the ALA convention in Philly this year. So in this picture, here we are at the signing of her and Nora Raleigh Baskin's book, The Planet, the Portal, and Pizza, and here's my copy. I also love that she respects her audience intelligence. Kids are capable of understanding astronomy, synesthesia, ethics, loss, and her books give them the tools to think about those things. Wendy Mass has recently released several books alongside other authors and illustrators. The Lost Library is a middle grade book, which was written alongside Rebecca Steed and tells a story about a little free library that appears in the town of Martinville after a fire destroyed the town's library. Lo and Behold is a graphic novel written by Mass and illustrated by Gabby Mendez about a girl whose family has a disruption, and she turns to VR for connection. Green Jolene and the Neighborhood Swap is illustrated by Billy Young and is a graphic novel about a girl who organizes a neighborhood swap to reduce waste. The Planet, the Portal, and Pizza by Mass and Nora Raleigh Baskin is a story about two girls who go on an adventure after one of their parents' inventions opens up a portal to other universes. I also wanted to add in a quick snapshot of titles that librarians should know when building a collection. So here you'll see early elementary books, middle grade, and YA. Wendy Mass is a gift to children's literature. Her stories don't just entertain. They nurture curiosity, self-reflection, and empathy. As a future librarian, I see her as a vital voice in the reading lives of children. She writes across genres, reading levels, and themes, but always with a deep respect of her readers. Her books help kids grow as thinkers and as people, and that, I think, is the most powerful thing a book can do. Thank you for listening and learning about my love and appreciation of Wendy Mass. I hope this has convinced you to include her in your library's collection in the future.